So this might sound really weird, but it's time to start pretending like you're someone else. Okay, so I know this sounds like really backward and weird ass advice, but first let me just preface the clickbaity title and say that I'm not actually telling you to try and be someone else, but pretend like you're someone that you're giving advice to. Let me explain more. So I was realizing this idea when I was trying to make a big financial purchase that I actually made recently, and I noticed that I'm a lot harder on myself than I am with other people. In other words, I usually give different advice depending on who I'm talking to. And I noticed that I tend to give different advice when I'm talking to friends versus when I'm talking to myself. And honestly, I feel like I give better advice to other people rather than to myself. I mean, let's be honest, if you're giving great advice to yourself, you're probably doing really good, but it's one thing to give good advice, it's another thing to follow it. But what the point of this thinking and realization was, it's helped me to realize that I typically give better advice to other people than to myself. And I don't take my own advice from myself, which again, like that almost doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? So basically I thought to myself, what if I was someone else? What if I pretended to be someone else, like I was giving advice to them, and then I actually took it? Because I am capable of taking other people's advice. I mean, that's how I got to where I am. I got help from other people. But sometimes I feel like I give really good advice, but I just don't follow it. For example, I actually went and rewatched a couple of my videos and I totally forgot about some of the good stuff that I had in there. And then it just came to me. If I want to help myself, I need to pretend like I'm someone else that I'm giving advice to. So the way that I try and implement this is I try to pretend like I'm my own good friend. Ideally, you want to be helping out your friends and you give advice to your friends when they have issues. For example, let's say that you know a friend who just spends way too much money, or they just spend their money on things that you know they shouldn't be spending it on. What advice would you give to that friend? And what if that friend was you? Maybe you'd think, okay, maybe you're spending like $800 a month on DoorDash or something. What if you just cut that down to like $600 or $400 even? This is the kind of advice that I would probably give to someone else, but why would I not take it myself, right? Like it's just simple, but you just don't really think about it. The point of doing this exercise is to put yourself in that person's shoes, because you naturally place mental blocks on yourself, but not really with others. I mean, usually when you talk to other people and you give them advice, it's very face value. I mean, unless you know their situation perfectly, you can't give perfect advice. I don't think anybody can. And the thing is you know your own situation. You are you. You know what's going on in your life and why some advice won't work. And this is very important. But you also have to remember that everyone has very different and unique situations in life, and that's maybe why you give advice to other people, but not to yourself. That's actually one of the flaws with this whole technique. I mean, it's not like a perfect or bulletproof solution for every piece of advice you want to give to yourself to improve your life. But hopefully this trick can just help you to see more from like the third person of your life. Like, you know how, well, you see everything in first person, obviously, right? From your own eyes. But what if you could just like take a step back from your life and you give advice to someone from kind of the third person? That's kind of the idea that I'm trying to convey here. I mean, this is just supposed to be a little more unfiltered video about me giving out a little trick or advice that I actually tried myself. And you know what? It does help you to think a little differently. Again, I'm not saying this advice is going to change your life. I'm just saying, you know what? If you feel stuck, maybe try it from time to time. I really do enjoy creative problem solving. I mean, that's the reason why I'm a software developer. That's pretty much what I do as a career. So I hope that this advice of creatively problem solving, you know, like using something that you've never really tried before, can help you. It forces you to think outside the box. Literally, you are the box. You got to think outside that box. So I hope that you're able to try this advice out. And if you are, let me know in the comments down below. I'm really interested to see what situation you tried it on and what kind of advice it worked for you. And also, don't forget to join the Discord, link down below, and let's talk more there. I want to get to know you guys better, especially the people who stick around for a long time, but you're just kind of lurking. Okay, now drop a like and a sub, drop a like and a sub, now drop a like and a sub.